Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Hannah Fernandez and you're watching SCORE TV. SCORE is a nonprofit organization that provides free business mentoring and other services to startups and established businesses across the United States. So whether you are a new entrepreneur or you've been in business for a long time, our SCORE mentors can offer you free business advice, mentoring, and other resources. To connect with us, you can check out our website at chicago.score.org. You can also email us at info@scorechicago.org or call us at 312-353-7724. This is a live show, so please feel free to call in and ask your questions. The phone number to call in is 312-738-1060. Now, if you want to learn how to create a marketing strategy that sells, stay tuned and my guest today can help. Jeff Davis is the Vice Chair of Marketing at SCORE Chicago and the founder of JD2 Consulting Group. Jeff has over 15 years of sales and marketing experience and focuses on combining sales and marketing to achieve a maximum return of investment for his clients. Jeff, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely, Anna. Thank you for having me.
So Jeff, I know that you're a marketing and sales guru, so why is it so important that small business owners understand both sales and marketing?
Well, the reason it's so important because, unfortunately, small organizations, either small or medium-sized businesses don't have the luxury of having a sales team or a marketing team. So entrepreneurs, solopreneurs have to do it all themselves.
I've heard that.
Yeah, which we all know. So what we find in studies is that one of the top reasons that small businesses fail or SMBs fail is actually because they don't understand how to promote their business. And then when you look into the data even more, it shows that I think it's 64% don't understand how to promote their business between sales and marketing tactics and strategies. And then more so than that, I think 55% don't even understand their competition. So they don't understand who they're competing with and what that looks like. So all that is said is that if you really want your business to be successful and you want to take this great idea you have and you actually want it to grow, you have to understand the fundamentals of both sales and marketing and understand how to put them together in a strategy to get new customers.
Those are really high percentages of people who don't actually understand or are clear about what to do when it comes to sales and marketing.
Yeah.
So, to be clear, what is the difference between sales and marketing?
It's a great question, and I think a lot of people have a lot of confusion around the difference. So I always use the analogy of if you think about you being a farmer, right? Okay. So if you have an irrigation system, you're watering your crops for the year, that would be marketing. You're planning a message out into the market, you're helping people understand what your unique value proposition. So it's one person or one business talking to many people. Sales is really on the ground. So that's me going and actually, actually being the farmer or actually tilling the land and actually looking at those one-on-one opportunities. And so what happens many times is that, you need a combination of both because if you're a small team, you have to kind of go between, actually harvesting, but you also have to irrigate. So there's this combination of things you need to do. And if you do one or the other too much without a balance, then you end up, getting things where you don't have enough customers or you have too many, you don't have enough time to actually be in your business. So when you think about the difference between sales and marketing, think of it as marketing is one to many or one to groups. And your objective there as a marketer or in marketing activities is to really set the stage, tell the story for why people should want to interact with you and want to know more about your business. On the other hand, sales is that one-to-one interaction where you're talking to individuals about what uniquely is special about your business as it pertains to them as an individual versus a group. So that really is the difference between sales and marketing.
That's an excellent clarification. So now that you've done that for us, when it comes to marketing their business, right? Yeah. Where do most small business owners get it wrong?
Yeah, marketing changes so fast nowadays with digital marketing, with Facebook, and social, all that sort of thing. So it's hard to keep up. Stereotypically, what I see businesses do is instead of really being thoughtful and stepping back about what they're trying to achieve, they just go in and do the latest fad of marketing. So they'll be on Facebook or they'll be on Twitter or they'll do all these things. And then when I step back and ask, why are we using that particular marketing channel, marketing platform, they don't really know. So it's really important to not just try everything, right? It's about really truly understanding your business, really thinking about who you're targeting and where they're going to be. So I always kind of joke with people that, if you are targeting 95-year-old grandmothers, they might be on Facebook, right?
Sure.
But Instagram may not be the best place for you to be. And so there's that thoughtfulness of, if we're trying to get 95-year-old grandmas, should I really be spending a lot of money on Instagram?
Sure.
Because it may be a waste of money and there may not be ROI there. So
That's a good point.
that's where a lot of small business owners just waste a lot of time because they don't really take the time to think. And I know it's difficult because you have so much going on. But if you take the step to breathe, step back and think about what you're trying to achieve, in the long run will save you a lot of money.
Oh, I like that. So make sure you guys make a note of that. So Jeff, brought up the importance of actually knowing your target market, knowing where you hang out, and if it makes sense, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotcha. So now you talked about the concept of revenue engine.
Yes.
So what is that, and how could it help small business owners think differently?
Yeah, I love the concept of revenue engine, which is stereotypically more used in large organizations. But why I like it and why I share it with SMBs or small business owners is because it's really all of the activities that you are currently doing to basically make money. Let's make it easy. And so what that does is that it helps you think about your activities in a different way. So it's all of the sales things, all of the marketing, all of the advertising, all the promotion, all those things really create this engine that drives new customers to your business.
Okay.
And so when you think about it that way, it's easier to say, okay, if I am going to place ads on Facebook
Okay.
and I get somebody to come to my website, what then? So for most folks that are just focused on marketing, it's just getting people to go on Facebook, click on the ad, go to the website. But if you think of it and step back as, I need to bring in a customer and get them to buy something, now what happens after I get to the website? Do I want them to buy something? Do I want them to call me? Do I want them to send me an email? Because that's going to get you into the territory where you start selling. So if I look at it, my revenue engine from my first interaction with my customer to them purchasing something, that is everything that falls in between there. I'm going to try to maximize my dollars, whether it be, like I said, Facebook, or whether it be you going out into the community and doing some activities, whether you being on the show like CanTV or even having a radio spot. Those all go in that bucket of your revenue engine to help drive new customers into your business to hopefully purchase.
Gotcha. So now, how does a small business owner go about creating a marketing plan?
So you can, of course, come to SCORE Chicago. First of all, marketing plans can be sometimes stressful for people that are not marketers or don't have an experience with it, because there are a lot of different components. When you think about a traditional marketing plan, you're looking at things like market research, you're looking at things like competitive analysis, you're looking at a budget, you're looking at what's social strategy you're going to use. So there's a lot of different parts. It's not just, I'm going to put a sign up outside my business and hope people show up.
So we understand that it could be overwhelming, and that's why we're all here to help you out, correct?
It's extremely overwhelming.
It is,
So my first step is to, if you have the opportunity, seek out SCORE Chicago. They have a lot of mentors that have expertise in the marketing plan. And I think what it gives you is an idea of what are the components that you need to be thinking about within that marketing plan, versus you just taking a white sheet of paper and saying, I want to do all this stuff, which is overwhelming and probably very, very stressful. And so on top of that, once you have that interaction, you can start to think of, what are the things that I need to do in order to market my business properly? And what I think a marketing plan does is it forces you to think about your business in a very realistic way. I run into a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners that are super passionate about their business. They love it.
Sure.
But as we all know, what's the movie, Build It and They Will Come, is not a reality. I wish it was, but it's not. So what a marketing plan can do is it forces you to think about, who are you trying to target? What do you need to say to them? Why do they care? Are they willing to spend what you're proposing? Is it too high? Is it too low? All those things will come out in that marketing message, and so you can then pivot and change your business, and or figure out, okay, if I'm going to do this, I need to have support from this. So I love a good marketing plan, because I think it creates a lot of space for you to think and then just execute and have somewhere that tells you what to do.
Right, exactly. And that's a lot of things to think about because just because, like you mentioned, that you're passionate about your idea doesn't mean
Yeah.
that people are willing to buy it.
Absolutely. And I also think that a marketing plan will allow you to say no. And so what I mean by that is as an entrepreneur, and I think many of us have gone through this within the SCORE community, you feel like you need to do everything. You have to do everything, and somebody comes up with a great new idea, I got to do that too.
Right, exactly.
A good marketing plan will give you the opportunity to say, you know what, I think that's a great opportunity, but I cannot do that right now because my marketing plan says I should be focused on these things. And so I always say the marketing plan is not there to tell you what to do, what more to do. It's actually to give you a space to say, like, can't do that, got to focus on the business.
And that's a very important tool because a lot of entrepreneurs, they're known to have the syndrome, the shiny objects or shiny penny syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
So focus from, what we've seen, from what I've seen when I talk to small business owners, is really even more important than intelligence in the business. So that's going to go ahead and help the small business owners focus.
Yeah, and I think it's nice, as you sit down with a SCORE mentor, you sit down with a consultant or whoever you work with, sometimes you need that hard critical feedback from somebody to say you do have a great idea, but you're not going to be able to sell it in the way that you want to unless you really understand how to do X, Y, Z.
Exactly.
And sometimes that's very sobering and not the most comfortable conversation, but we have to have those in order to really, get our business on track.
Absolutely. And just wanted to remind everybody that this is a live show. So please feel free to call in to talk to me and Jeff. The phone number to call in is 312-738-1060. So we are here. And just to remind you, in terms of to connect with SCORE Chicago, our website is chicago.score.org. You could email us at info@scorechicago.org or call us at the office at 312-353-7724. Now, Jeff, for the next question, so what kind of marketing tactics should a business owner use for their business?
Great question. So there are so many. So the first answer to that, there's so much out there nowadays, which is actually really, really exciting, but it can be very, very overwhelming. So going back to the marketing plan and the marketing strategies I said, it's so important to start there. It's so important to understand what unique value you're providing to the market.
Yes.
Who are you targeting in the market? Who is your customer? And then I always say, how do you want to communicate with them? And what I mean by that is the way that you communicate to a millennial versus a married mother of two versus a single bachelor, those are all very different conversations.
Absolutely.
So the better you can understand who you're talking to, that will tell you not only what to say, but how to say it. And so I think, as we go back to our earlier question of where do sometimes small businesses fail, is that they don't understand those three components. So that is, what are you uniquely offering to the market? What makes you special and different? Who are you trying to talk to? Who are you trying to connect with? And then what is the best way to communicate with them so that they understand your message? And so it can be as simple as, let's say I'm a bakery in the neighborhood, and I want to separate myself from the competition. So there's a couple different ways you can go about that. It can be about your geography. I'm the closest one in the neighborhood, et cetera, et cetera. But when you really step back and you look at who your customers are, maybe you can do something really unique by saying, we notice that we have a lot of older adults in our neighborhood, some of which may be diabetics. So how do you help educate them and bring some value to them to say, we know you love our bakeries, our cookies, and that sort of thing. But along with that, we want to give you a message about taking care of yourself. So you've created value for somebody. You've created an emotional connection with, instead of going to maybe Dunkin' Donuts.
Right, exactly.
I'm going to go to the local bakery because, I know that you take care of me and say, Jeff, I know you had, 2 donuts, today. We got to be careful because I know you have diabetes and I want to make sure that you're around. So it's about creating value for customers. And so to your point about the different tactics, we have to start there first and then understand what makes the most sense from those 3 areas.
Gotcha. And take careful notes of that because it's very important to have what's called a USP, which is your unique selling proposition. So just like what Jeff mentioned, if there are a lot of competitors in the area, what makes you different? What kinds of value do you bring to the market? So these are just some of the things to think about. Anything else to add to that in terms of creating more value for your competitor, versus your competitors?
Yeah, so I think today really is, at the end of the day, it's really about creating value, right? Creating value in your messaging, creating value. It's also about having a conversation with customers.
Okay.
And so what I mean by that is we are inundated with messaging, marketing, data all day. So people are starting to get to a point where they're just exhausted. You're seeing more and more people turning off from digital because it's just overwhelming and too much. And so what is happening in all businesses is that the customer experience is becoming the most important selling proposition or value proposition.
Right.
People want you to make the selling process easy. They want you to remove the friction. And to be honest with you, they want you to educate them why they should buy your product. So if you can really be thoughtful about, if I were the customer, how would this feel to me? How do I make every single step in buying something from me easy? You are going to win over your competition hands down. And even if it's something simple like we all provide the same donuts or whatever it is, if you have a better customer experience, and we've seen this is why people go to Starbucks, right? There's a coffee shop down the street that's probably half as much, but we still go to Starbucks because we have a consistent experience that we enjoy.
Absolutely.
So even if you're in a competitive market, you really look at that customer experience, and if you can provide that, people will come and people will buy your product.
That's a great point, because if a small business owner or a business wows me, you can be sure if they made me feel special, that I will come back and give them business over and over again.
And so you hit on a good point of building advocates. So when you are a small team, it's critical and so important that you have advocates or ambassadors out in the market talking about you, right? Because we can't afford, spots on the Super Bowl, and we can't afford really expensive commercials. But who is the best commercial? A happy customer that had a great experience that says, hey, I'm going to tell 5 friends, and those 5 friends are going to tell 5 friends. That is free marketing. That is probably the most amazing return on your investment you could ever think of.
Exactly, because now you multiply yourself and you multiply your efforts, and it's always better to get endorsed by a third party than even yourself. I mean, I could say how great I am, but if you said it, or if another client says it, and many people say it, to me, I think that's a lot more valuable, and it's a stronger case.
And it means something different. And so what I'll add to that too, looking at customer experience and creating advocates, studies have shown by the year 2020, and some would argue it's already happening, that people, again, will pay more and buy inferior products if it's a better customer experience.
I could definitely see that, and I see that happening all the time.
Yeah. How many times have you gone somewhere and it may be a better product, but you're just frustrated with the whole process, and you just say, like, I'm just not buying anything at all. I don't want to do it.
Right, exactly.
And you go somewhere else and you're like, this is okay, it's not as good as the other one, but you know, it's so much easier. I got stuff to do, I want to move on. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, like you said, you want to make it as seamless and easy as possible for your customers and your clients.
Absolutely.
Now, how does a business owner make sure that they're using the most effective sales and marketing strategies for their business?
That's a great question. So I think it goes back to something you talked about a little bit earlier, is what's your value proposition? Because when you look at that, you can really set up a value chain or a customer journey that makes sense for your customer. And so throughout that, if I understand what I'm uniquely providing to the market, if I understand who I'm speaking to, and then I also understand how I want to communicate with them, so I then can say, okay, here's an opportunity to do Twitter. Just make if we're looking at social. Does that fit who I'm trying to talk to? Will they be there? And I think that's really the question to ask yourself. If you're, and I'm kind of doing social because a lot of small businesses, they really level up and are able to play on the same playing field as a lot of big businesses via social, right?
Yeah.
So it makes things a lot more even. So if you do that and you choose to do a social strategy, are the people that you're targeting going to be in that social channel? Not everybody is on LinkedIn. Not everybody's on Facebook.
Exactly.
Not everybody's on Instagram. So you have to make sure the people that you want are there. Then once you determine that, you have to make sure that that particular channel, you can communicate with them the way that you want to.
Okay.
How you communicate on LinkedIn versus a Facebook versus a Twitter versus an Instagram, those are all different. They're all like unique little little monsters or
Sure.
unique little, or they're like different. I don't know why I use monsters, but they're all unique little entities, and so you have to.
Right.
They all have their own personalities.
Absolutely.
And so you have to understand that to make sure that you are investing the time and resources and energy and money into the ones that are best going to get you in front of your client so that they buy from you.
And you said that the way you communicate, on Facebook or LinkedIn, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So, the way I look at it, and let me know what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
So Facebook is a lot more free and fun, and LinkedIn is more professional. I mean, can
Yeah.
you go ahead and see what your thoughts are on that?
Absolutely.
You said it's different.
So stereotypically, LinkedIn is a professional network, right? So you have a lot of B2B businesses that are communicating there, and it's a little bit more formal. I
Okay.
think that what you're seeing over time is that it is kind of laxing a little bit. But
Okay.
for the most part, you're not posting pictures of your dog and your kids and
Right.
family vacation on LinkedIn.
Sure.
Although I would argue some people are trying to do that, which people are pushing back against very, very strongly.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to make sure that your message, fits that platform. Because if I'm on LinkedIn and I'm looking for a professional, I'm scrolling through my messages, I'm looking for professional things, and I want to know about how I can make my business better. And all of a sudden, I get some weird Bahamas vacation, come have Mai Tais.
Right.
It really jars my experience, and not
Yes.
in a good way. It's actually very distracting, and so you never want to serve up something to somebody in a channel where they're expecting something different.
Okay.
And some people think that's like, oh, I'm getting their attention. Well, you're getting their attention, but in a negative way, because I feel that you shouldn't be here and that you are distracting me from what I'm trying to achieve. So that's why it's so important to put your message where it's supposed to be. Or if you're going to do this kind of pop-up sort of thing, just be very careful about how you do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And how do you use Twitter for your business or Instagram?
Yeah, so those channels are about having a conversation. So
Conversation,
you'll hear a
okay.
lot about, well, professional marketers probably hear this, but conversational marketing. And so what we're seeing nowadays is that we no longer can just put a sign up and say, hey, I'm selling donuts, come see me, right?
Right, right.
Just our lives are so much busier, we're so much more distracted, there's so many things going on. And so with that, the brands and the products that are winning are creating a community. They're having continuous conversations over time, and they're providing their community value. And so you really, if you want to win, you have to do that. And so Twitter is a great way to really keep people engaged and
Okay.
share and really curate content, in order to push that out to your community and really communicate across multiple channels. And so, like I said before, it's really smart for a business to take the time to either coming to SCORE or getting a consultant or just doing your own research, but list the social channels that you're thinking about engaging with, and then
Right.
learn about what makes them unique to make sure they make sense for your business.
Gotcha. So any final thoughts, if there's one or two things that you would advise small business owners in terms of sales and marketing, what would
Yeah.
it be?
I think, at the end of the day, what would make your life easier is I always ask myself the question, why does anybody care? Why do they care about my product? Why do they care about my business? Why do they care about working with me? Because what it'll do, it'll force you to really understand the value that you are providing customers. So at the end of the day, it's really about value. We have to focus on that. And once we understand that, and we understand who we're talking to, and we understand how we should be communicating with that, all that together will tell you what marketing and what sales activities you should be doing, and it will make your life a lot easier.
Those are great suggestions. And at the end of the day, it's all about them. It's all about your clients and customers and not about you, right?
Exactly.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for being here today and for all that you do for SCORE Chicago.
Thank you
I
for
really
having me.
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And to those of you that are watching right now, if you would like some free business mentoring, or if you would like to become a SCORE mentor, we would love for you to connect with us. Again, our website is chicago.score.org. And I'm just going to bring it up right here. Again, that's chicago.score.org. You can also email us at info@scorechicago.org, or you could call our office at 312-353-7724. Please join us again next time. I'm Hannah Fernandez. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again on SCORE TV.